Welcome to another week of the Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. I'm Owen McClair, joined by Otis Kirk. Otis, we got a couple wide receivers here we got to talk about this week. We've got
Yeah,
C.J. Brown and Desmond James. I hope I'm saying the second one right. C.J.
yeah.
in the class of 2024, wide receiver taking his official visit. What's that up?
Bentonville kid,
Yeah?
CJ, great kid. He official. Both these were official visitors, but CJ is 2024, as you say, going to make a decision on June the 30th. We'll announce his decision then. This was his first official visit. He has, let's see if I can do this, but remember, Kansas
Mm-hmm.
State, Oklahoma State, Vanderbilt, and Minnesota, not in that order. It's actually Vanderbilt, Minnesota, Oklahoma State, and then Kansas State. He wraps up with Kansas State and then announces his decision on June the 30th. So Arkansas is in, I think, really good shape with CJ. First class kid, first class receiver, just about 6'2", 185, can really run. They offered him, Coach Guyton, Coach Pittman really worked him hard this weekend. And here's what's going into play with him, CJ, is Arkansas's got to build an advantage with him. And it's in my story. And by the way, the story is up at Pig Trail Nation, Hogville, and wherever
Free to
right
read.
now. But yeah, Twitter, Facebook. But here's the deal. Arkansas's got to build an advantage. They're close to home. And that's this kid. Some kids that doesn't make any difference, but with this kid, that's a big factor. And it's just a built-in advantage for Arkansas. He was born in Cleveland, Ohio, moved to Minnesota briefly, and then moved down to Fayetteville 13 years, or to Bentonville, I'm sorry, 13 years ago. Just Arkansas really got an advantage here, and I feel good about them getting him. They've already gotten one in-state receiver in Courtney Crutchfield, and if they can add CJ, that would be awesome. And so, yeah, and I like I said, I feel good about Arkansas's chances him simply because of a lot of things, not just the distance, but that's a build. I mean, that is a huge advantage because, like I said, some kids it's more of an advantage. Some kids it's no advantage, but with this kid, it's a big advantage. And so, you take in each person individually, and it's important for him, for his family to be able to come see him play and not have to drive all day to do it, And
Oh,
so
absolutely.
he's generous. He said, and on the way games, I will buy them a ticket. And I'm okay, CJ. You
I,
can pay my
I'm
way the games too, man.
I'm sure he won't have to do that. All right, now
Yeah,
Desmond, Mr. James from the class of 2023. What are you hearing on him?
man. Here's a kid about 6'1", 6'2", about 185 pounds. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how he has lasted to this long because he had a big senior season. This kid ran track is a legit 10-4-600 meters. I mean, Andrew Armstrong and Isaiah Satina hosted him last night or this weekend. Here's his stats. By the way, let me real quick on CJ. He had 75 catches for 1,284 yards and 16 touchdowns. CJ Brown.
Yeah.
On this kid, he had 43 receptions, 601 yards and 5 touchdowns, rushed 27 times for 321 yards and 4 touchdowns. So
Woo!
he had a big senior season. I don't know why he's still on the table. I mean, the
Yeah.
recruiting service has him rated an 89, which is one spot below a 4-star. So I don't know if he was a lake. I don't know the reason, but I just know kids like that don't grow on trees. There's probably a backstory there somewhere. I don't know what it is, but anyway, yeah, Arkansas is on him. North Carolina State and Liberty are the other two factoring schools. I think South Carolina offered him, but I don't think they're a factor right now. It's going to be Arkansas, North Carolina State, or Liberty. Once again, I feel really good. And if he takes it by my math, CJ, that's the last scholarship for 2023 that Arkansas had. They had
Okay.
available, and we just assumed it was going to be somebody out of the portal.
Sure.
But it doesn't have to be someone out of the portal. And, Arkansas, but they went to the junior college ranks and found a center. And I guess they've gone to the high school ranks and found this kid. So, and when we say portal, it doesn't have to be, those scholarships don't have to go to kids out of the portal. It's just that most of the time they do. But there's always a case of a kid qualifying late, some kid that got overlooked. I just don't know how a kid that posted those stats, that size, and legit speed would get overlooked. But whatever. Arkansas is founding Kenny Guyton and Sam Pittman and those guys, and they're doing a great job recruiting him. He's going to meet. He met with the track coaches today before he left. He met with Coach Bucknam and
Yeah.
those guys.
Going the full Isaiah route.
he's going to be a two-sport athlete just like Isaiah. So, yeah, and that's good. I love the receivers and running backs and stuff working with the track coaches.
Oh yeah.
It's hard when you're a pitcher and in quarterback in football to play pitcher in baseball and be a two-sport guy, but in track, I think it's a natural fit. And I would, if I'm the football coach, I'm urging any of my skill position players or defensive backs and stuff, get down there and run track, man. If they'll let you. Yeah,
Oh,
this kid,
absolutely.
he will put points up for Coach Bucknam and the track team and track meets. He said this was his first year running track. He didn't really know what he was doing. He's just out there running in a 10.46, So, but his size is legit. He's a really good player, and I'll have a story later today on him on obviously Pig Trail Nation, Hogbill, and our networks of stuff, KARK, and the other places at my story. Of course, Twitter, Facebook, those places as well.
Absolutely. It really does not hurt when your star wide receiver is also a track star. And I'm sure Coach Buck doesn't mind it either.
No.
Otis, any other official visits for June that we need to talk about?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. They've got the next 3 or 4 weekends will be loaded with kids. They only had those 2 this weekend. There'll be like 5 or 6 or more next weekend. The last weekend, there'll be in about 3 weeks, there will be a ton of kids here. But it's just going to be, and they're going to be kids every weekend. You got Kobe Branham's coming up in a couple of weeks from Southside. I love, they've got some different players coming in next weekend. Wide receiver Livingstone from Texas, same school Bupper Pool went to.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a tight end from California. Morgan Turner probably had a connection with him out in Stanford. They've got a linebacker from Atlanta coming up next weekend, and some other players too. So it's going to be a good weekend, and obviously we will have stories on everybody that we talk to on those kids. Try to talk to all of them, but definitely as many as possible. Sometimes I miss a kid on a visit and can't get him.
Yeah, Otis,
try to get them
you're a
all.
human. It's still
Yeah.
it amazes me how much you get done as a one-man band. I know that you're not truly a one-man band.
Yeah.
John, I'm giving you a shout out here. Don't say I never did anything for you. But,
Well,
we do love our
it's
man
fun.
John. But Otis, we appreciate everything that you do.
Yeah.
It's starting to smell like football season. I know it's not fall yet, but whenever that summer clock turns, I'm like, all right, where are these camps coming around? And we've got some camps that we need to talk about, Otis.
Yeah, actually, there is a youth camp next Saturday, so I guess it's unfair to say the camps start 1 week from today, but the high school camps start the one with recruits. There's next Sunday. There'll be a 1-day camp just for any kid that wants to come. But there will also be a specialist camp. Scott Fountain will have a specialist camp next Sunday as well. So they're not only just official visitors next weekend. There will be 2 football camps. Hopefully there's a super regional here to talk about too.
Yeah.
Dudley, I know, and you guys listen.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just saying, hopefully there's a lot of super regional to talk about too. But I know there will be 2 football camps Sunday and some official visitors next week. So it's definitely football. I mean, I don't know what football season ever is.
What is
between the Portland?
I was going to say, wait a
recruiting and
minute. Looking back on my year, what is football season? It really is, especially in Arkansas. It's always football season.
It's never ends. You go I went straight from the bowl game. I mean, football season to the bowl game to covering portal recruiting. They had that 5-day window in January. Then you go to the high school portion of it. Then you go to signing day, the late signing. Then you go to prospect days, and they're going on in January. Prospect days, and then spring football. Then official visitors and camps. I mean, it's just and when it ends, it starts back over. And so it really truly never ends. That's what I'm saying. It just resets to it. Instead of 2022, we're going to be on 2023 football season soon. So, and it's basically already turned to that. So it's just that's what happens. It never ends. It just starts evolving to a different year.
Oh yeah, Otis. I'm sure if you asked Sam Pittman, he'd have a similar feeling about that one. But as always, Otis, we appreciate your time. That's all the time we have for this Sunday. Don't forget to check back in next week for another episode of your Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. Thanks, Otis.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, anytime.